take a seat, please? Can we get everyone to take a seat, please? Hello. Hello, everyone. Start taking a seat, please. Can we get everyone seated, please? Everyone hear me over here? I'd like to get everyone seated, please. We can get everyone seated. Thank you, Daniel. There's a guy that knows what he's doing. All right. We get this side of the room seated, please. All right. We could have everyone take a seat, please. All right.
Here, there's two right here.
Oh, that's safe.
Here, push it. No, we got right here, right here. What are you drinking? Champagne? Awesome.
We can get everyone seated, please. All right, everyone, time to take a seat, please. Two people. Drink here.
That's what he wants. That's what he wants to see.
All right, everyone. If you want to eat, you have to sit down. All right. All right, everybody. We got almost everyone in here. Anyone across the hall? Just a few more people to come in and we'll get started. Well, I don't know how fast the bartender will be across the hall, so I'm going to go ahead and get started, and the folks that come in, they'll come in. So welcome, everyone, to the 35th anniversary dinner here in wonderful Houston, where it all started. Thank you for being here. I know a lot of the employees that are here know that that we've been on tour for the last, I guess, 4 months. Since September, we've had 8 dinners. This is the 8th out of 8. And I gotta tell you, after 5 Maggianos, we're ready to stop. The food's been great, but boy, I love Italian food, but it doesn't love me so much. So it's been really quite a tour. We're so happy that all of you are here this evening to join us in celebrating. Who are we? Who are me? I'll get there. I'll get there. I'll get there. I'll get there. I want to say thank you to everyone first. I want to
I didn't want you to forget.
I won't forget myself tonight. I only had 1.5 drinks tonight so far, not 2. I'll miss a few words tonight. Some of you know that. But, okay, since you brought it up, Bruce, I'll go ahead and do it now. But then I'm going to skip around a little bit. For those of you who don't know who I am, I tried to meet everyone as you were coming through the door this evening. And I'm fairly certain I missed a few people, but I'm Jerry Hosko. I'm co-president and chief operating officer. I've been with the company going on 18 years now. Thank you. My wife, Michelle, is here. Where are you, Michelle? Okay. And I'll get to everybody else in a moment, okay? But I want to thank everyone who's here because we have a lot of out-of-towners. See, that's what 1.5 drinks does. I should have stayed with a scotch last night instead of going to gin. So we have, what, branches from people here from the ranch of San Antonio. We've got Austin. We've got Oklahoma City. We've got Tulsa. We've got Kansas City. Pretty loud over there for a small group. And of course we have the great branch of Houston that started it all. And we have the executive team here as well that's been traveling around, as I mentioned earlier. I'd like to make a few introductions, and I'm going to hand it over to a couple of my compatriots that have a few words to say. But first, for those of you who don't know who all of us are, you of course know who I am and my wife now, but now the guy that started it all, Bruce, caressed his wife Rona, started 35 years ago. And by the way, December 1st was the anniversary, so we're our 36th year now. How about that? Thank you, Bruce. Great vision. And of course, Greg Wallachie, our CEO, and his wife Dee. And as a lot of the employees know, Greg is retiring at the end of this month. We're going to miss him. He's got some great stories for you later, though. Great stories. And let's see, Brian Caress and his wife Terry, Brian's co-president. And he will be the new CEO January 1, 2017. And I'd like to introduce a few of the other executives that we have. They're here both from locally and from other parts of the country. We have our Senior Vice President for this division, John Hagan, and his wife, Alec. Here from Denver. His counterpart, Mike Mosley, and his wife, Robin, from the Eastern Division. They live here in Houston as well. Yeah, don't make her stand. Is it next Friday? What, Monday? Friday she's delivering a baby. Next Friday. I told her it'd be pretty cool if she had it here tonight, but we got almost 200 people here. It'll be a lot of fun. All right, let me see here. Who did I miss? Jerry Ross, where are you? And Mary, our Regional Vice President, Central Region. Jerry Ross. And let's see, we don't have any suppliers here tonight. There's Joe Salmon down there, our regional from the Central Region for direct accounts. There you go, Joe. Just a few people to introduce. And let's see, I didn't see, I know we have our friends here from J.P. Morgan Chase, been great bankers, partners for a lot of years.
Bobby and Erica are here.
Yeah, that's who I was going to go with, Bobby and Erica. I knew they were here. I'm looking for Scott, though, and Stephanie, and they're not here yet. Where are they? You snuck in on me. There they are. So they just walked in. Scott, Stephanie. J.P. Morgan Chase has been a great partner for Redi-Carpet for a lot of years. They were working with Greg before I even came here 18 years ago, so they've been terrific. And thank you for your support. Thank you for being here this evening. I don't think I missed anyone. Did I? Brian, I always ask you to help me because you got the best memory. Who did I miss? Who did I miss? Who did I miss? Eric Olson, our CFO, and Belinda. Where are you? Thank you, Eric. Thank you. Jonathan Becky. Jonathan, Director of Operations. We've got a lot of people here. All right. You don't need me anymore. So I'm going to pass it over to Brian Caress. He's got a few things he'd like to say. Thanks very much.
I guess we all know who the boss really is. Good evening. So I've made it through 7 of these without having to use a microphone, but my voice was not big enough to carry this room tonight. Jerry, just so you know, unfortunately, you may be done with Maggiano's, but you're going to have lunch here on Wednesday. We're having lunch with our largest client on Wednesday. We do it every year, so you get to have it one more time. Thank you all for being here. For those of you that traveled in especially, we know how difficult it is. Those of us that travel for a living, we're glad you could all join us, and we're happy to have you here tonight. Whether you're an employee of Redi-Carpet, whether you're a guest of Redi-Carpet, whether you're a vendor, you've all had a portion in our success over the last 35 years, and for that I'd like to thank you. I'd also like to thank some specific people tonight as well, and I'm going to start with Jerry Osco. Jerry, 18 years ago, 17 years ago, you took a chance on me. Unproven as a manager, I was a salesperson in the organization who had had some modest success, and you saw something in me and gave me an opportunity, along with Greg, to have my first role in management as a general manager. And in all honesty, through the past 17 years, you've guided me and helped me as I've held several different positions in the company, and I wouldn't be prepared for the future if it weren't for you. And there's a quote by Benjamin Franklin, and it's, "Tell me and I forget, teach me and I may remember, but involve me and I will learn." And Jerry, I'd just like to say thank you for involving me for these last 17 years. You know, Jerry mentioned that 35 years ago my father started it all. And what a lot of you don't know is that when he did start the company, there were 3 additional partners that he had. So there was a team of 4 guys. And over the course of the first 10 years in our existence, we branched off into the commercial business and did some other things. But one of the things that wasn't working was we were not all moving in the right direction together, and the 4 partners had different ideas. And so while we're here celebrating our 25th anniversary, our 35th anniversary tonight, we are also actually celebrating the 25th anniversary of another event. As Jerry said, a couple of days ago on December 1st was our actual 35th. But on August 31st was the 25th anniversary of my father buying out his partners. And if he hadn't done that, had he not taken that leap of faith and done that, then we wouldn't be who we are today. Once he did that, we started to focus on multifamily. We decided that we wanted to grow. We moved into multiple markets. And really, that's when we started to become who Redi-Carpet is today. And it's what our business plan has been and will be to continue to grow going forward. So for that, Dad, thank you for taking the chance twice. Number 1, opening up Redi-Carpet. Number 2, buying out your partners and putting us on the path that we're on today. And then as well for me, Greg Wallachie, another mentor of mine. I wouldn't be who I am today without Greg Wallachie. As I've said, I know I've given Greg some heartburn over the years. I wasn't always the easiest protege, but thank you for everything you've done. And I'd like to share a little story with you this evening that is a story that I heard, and it made me think of Greg. There's a little old lady who woke up one morning and she went to her mirror to do her makeup, and she realized that she had lost most of her hair. And in fact, she only had 3 hairs remaining on her head. And she looked at herself that day and she thought, wow, today I think I'm going to braid my hair. And she braided those 3 hairs, and she got up and she went about her day, and she had a fabulous day. And a few days later she woke up and she realized she had lost one of those hairs. And she only had 2 hairs left on her head. And so she sat there for a minute and she thought about it, and she looked in the mirror and she thought, you know what? This is the day that I part my hair in the center. And so she parted those 2 hairs, and she got up and she went about her day, and she had a fantastic day. And about a week went by, and she sat down in the mirror one morning and she realized she only had 1 hair left. And she thought, it's a ponytail. So she put a little ponytail holder on her hair. She went about her day. It was fantastic. And then a few days later she woke up and she looked in the mirror and she was completely bald. And instead of sitting there and saying, where did my hair go? You know what this lady said? She said, wow, I don't have to waste any more time on my hair. Now, the reason that I tell the story is because the first time I heard the story, it made me think of Greg Wallachie. He's got to be the most positive. No, he still has hair. He is the most positive person I know. And those of you that work with us in Houston, you get to hear it every morning. If you say, "Good morning, Greg," what does he say back?
Great morning.
Everybody knows it. We have a conference call we participate in once a month. And it's Houston, let's face it. It's probably pouring hot and humid outside. But they always ask, "Greg, how's the weather in Houston?" And he says, "The sun is shining, the birds are singing." So the story reminded me of Greg. Greg, thank you for everything you've done for Redi-Carpet in the last 28 years and for me personally. Without further ado, I'm going to turn it over to you.
This will be difficult because I've got a story to tell and I'm holding the microphone may make it difficult. So if by chance I throw it out and it hits you in the head, I'm sorry ahead of time. But I'm going to take you back 60 years. You know, we're here for the 35th anniversary. I'll take you back to 60 years ago when I was 6 years old, growing up in the city of Detroit. Okay? Now, back then, we didn't have the internet, we didn't have the iPad, so we actually had to amuse ourselves physically during the summer. And one of the things we used to do is fly kites. Okay, that's some way that you can kill a few hours, and it was a lot of fun. Now, some people today have probably never, I look at some of the young faces, they're, "What's a kite? What's a kite?" There is an app on your phone, okay, and you can do kite flying. But in the old days, you actually, you know, the kites would have, you'd have the a string wrapped around a stick, and the kite would go up. Well, my brother was like an engineer type, and so one summer he was building this rather strange looking kite, and everybody in the neighborhood, there were probably about 20, 25 of us kids that were all paying attention, watching, wondering if this thing is actually going to fly, because it was really a strange looking kite. So we all waited with anticipation for that final day when the birds were singing, the sun was shining, white fluffy clouds, and there was a nice brisk breeze. So we all go down to the school playground, and this is where he's gonna fly the kite. And he gets going, and he starts setting it up, and it starts taking off, and boy, that thing just shot in the air. And I mean, it was like milkshake up a straw. It went up so fast. It was unbelievable. That string just went flying up. And pretty soon he's going back, and boom, he's back against the fence. Can't go back any further. That kite is so far up we can barely see it. At that point in time, his friend, you know, now we got 25 kids, we're all back against the fence watching this. His friend says to him, "Paul, you mind if I fly the kite?" Well, now, I was his brother, and if I had asked him, he'd have said, "No way," but of course it was his friend, so he said, "Sure, you know, you can fly it." So somehow, at some point in time in passing that kite from one set of hands to another, it let loose. And boy, that kite string just flew right across the ground. I mean, you could see that stick just jumping and jumping and jumping. It was probably 10 or 15 seconds before everybody realized what happened. But even the fastest kid in the school couldn't catch up to that kite string. I mean, it just boom, 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 boom. And that kite just went and went and went. And we spent the rest of the afternoon unwinding kite string from fences, trees, over roofs, just trying to get to the kite. And we finally did get to the kite. It was somewhat damaged. Fortunately, it did not land in the backyard of that mean old man who always keeps the balls that, you know, we put in his backyard. So we were able to get the kite back, but that sort of took the wind out of our sails for kite flying the rest of the year. And when we did fly kites, we went to the dime store, and yeah, you could actually buy things for a dime back then. And you know, we'd get a cheap kite, we'd fly it in an open area. But there are some things we can learn from the story of the kite that we certainly took to it. One, the height of the kite determines your sight. You always want to be taking the eagle-eye view on everything you do in life. You want to be looking down on the situation. You never ever want to find yourself saying, under the circumstances. Circumstances were meant to be above not under. So when the pressure starts to rise, remember the kite, because the kite goes up because it goes against the wind, not with the wind. Remember the kite, as the pressure rises, step back, take that eagle eye view, come up with a creative solution to the problem, because problems were meant to be solved. That's their definition. So take that high view. Number 2 we learned, don't let go. Okay? Hang on to your personal dreams. That kite is your dream, the string are the goals that'll get you there. And you can't give them to somebody else to take care of. They won't have the passion for your dream that you do. So make sure to hang on to your personal dream. 3, choose your space wisely. You know, when you're starting to go into something, do some research, ask questions, get a mentor, set yourself up for success. Don't put yourself in a situation where you find yourself backed against the fence. So get the research done. And lastly, expect the unexpected. Okay? Always have a contingency plan. You know, we buy insurance to protect us against items that we don't expect to ever happen to us. So we have to approach the rest of our lives that way too. Diversify. I mean, if you're in customer service, learn about purchasing. If you're in purchasing, learn about payables. If you're in payables, learn about operations. If you're in operations, learn about sales. I'm sorry, if you're in sales, I'm not sure what you guys do. No, I love you, I really do. But always have a plan B, and don't leave things to the last minute. Give yourself plenty of time so when the unexpected does occur, you have time to step back, take the eagle eye view, and come up with the solution to the problem. You have to give yourself enough time to get that done. So just in summary, 1, the height of the kite determines the site. Look down on the circumstances, not under them. 2, don't let go of your personal dreams. Hang on. 3, choose your space wisely. Don't end up against the fence. And lastly, expect the unexpected. And just like now, the unexpected is, I'm going to tell you a second story. You didn't know that was going to happen. But hopefully we've allowed enough time so that we can get this done. And this is an oldie but goodie, and since this is the last time I get to tell it, this is really a favorite story of mine, and it takes place with a grandfather and his grandson walking down a country Texas road. You know, you've got a dirt road, you've got a little ditch on each side, and you've got barbed wire fences, and you got a fence post every 6 feet or so. And the grandfather and the grandson are walking down the road, and all of a sudden, the grandson looks, and sitting on top of one of those fence posts is a frog. Now that little boy, he looks at that frog, and he looks at his grandpa, and he looks at that frog, and he looks at his grandpa, and he says, "Grandpa, how'd that frog get on top of that fence post?" And his grandfather looks very lovingly at his grandson and says, "Son, I don't know how it got up there, but I can tell you it didn't get there alone." And I tell you, I look around this crowd, and I don't know how Redi-Carpet got this big. I really don't. I've been with it for 28 years, and I'm amazed at how big we've grown. And we didn't get there alone. Each one of you has had your hand in it. Whether you've been here 3 weeks, 3 months, 3 years, or 25 years, you are the reason that we've done it. And I know that you'll be the reason that we double in size the next 25 years. So thank you all. Appreciate you coming. And if we timed it right, we'll be